Okay, YouTubers, this is the Angryprepper. Today we're going to talk about the Domestic Terrorist Bill, also known as the Domestic Terrorist Prevention Act of 2021. There are three bills that were established under the Domestic Terrorism Prevention Act bill. There were three separate bills, all right? So obviously I have to read this because, not a smart man. So there is the Domestic Terrorist Prevention Act bill of 2021, which was published, if you will, this month by Bradley Schneider. There was the Domestic Terrorist Prevention Act of 2020 by Bradley Schneider as well. And there was the Domestic Terrorism Prevention Act of 2019. This one was by Senator Rick Durbin. Now, the bills that they go under, the 2021 Domestic Terrorist Prevention Act bill is H.R. 350, if you want to look it up. The Domestic Terrorist Prevention Act of 2020 is H.R. 5602. And the Domestic Terrorist Prevention Act of 2019 is S. 894. You can look those up yourselves, guys. I will have the links to them in the comment section below, or the description section below, so you guys could take a look at it yourself. Now, they are all three pretty much the same. The Prevention Act of 350 actually added on something. Well, they didn't add on. I guess they added to it. Sorry, where they want a specific office of domestic terrorism prevention office that interacts with the DOJ, DSH, and FBI. So the Department of Homeland Security, Department of Justice, and the Federal Bureau of Investigation, right? That's what they want to do. That's what's like the add-ons to work in with them, to integrate with them a little better. Under this Domestic Terrorist Prevention Act, they want to look closely or investigate white nationalists or far-right extremists. Now, they put all the attacks on and close attacks in the bills. So that's why that's why I want you to look at them, because they reference a bunch of attacks by white nationalists and racists and neo-Nazis and all this other shit. Which, there were a couple of I guess successful attacks, and there were a lot actually, that were foiled before they got there. Okay. How about the terrorists or the Muslims who were here, who have been foiled for the last 10 years? I think there's probably been about one or two a year that's been foiled. There's been a lot on a smaller level, and there's been a few on the bigger level. And the bigger level goes based on how much damage they were looking to inflict. That's how they look at it. Now, here's the one thing I caught about these bills. You are going to see it yourself when you look at the bills. They backdate the bill, guys. They go, all of these white extremists and terrorist, domestic terrorist groups, starting from September 12th, 2001. That's where they backdated to. They don't backdate it to January 1st of 2000. No, they go September 12th, 2001. Very suspicious that they started it on the day after the Trade Center attacks. And there were a couple of other bombs being brought into the city, and one that I was actually sitting on in EMS September 12th on the George Washington Bridge. They stopped a white van and they said that there was an explosive device on it. Don't know how big it was because I was sitting super far away. But nonetheless, that was another attack on that day, or possible attack on that day. So what they're trying to do is they're playing the date game. Oh, well, September 11th happened on September 11th, so we're not going to go and look at the Muslims that attacked the United States of America on that day, where over 3,000 people died, or just about 3,000, sorry. Something like 2,900 people died on 9/11. Let's not look at that. Let's look at the white nationalists and far-right extremists and their 18 or 20 attacks in 15 years, some of them being foiled, some of them not. Right? They also put a hate crime in there. I think African American male was beat up by a bunch of white guys, and that goes under hate crime, and as it should. But when they put it in the bill, I'm like, I don't know, that was just a bit much. They had other high-profile cases in there. Like I said, you'll read it. But what they're trying to do is they're going after white men. Now, why do I care? Because I have a lot of white friends. No. Why do I care? Because it's going to turn into something bad, guys. They also said far-right extremist. So, depends on your view, whether you're black, white, Chinese, or Jewish. They can look at you and go, well, you have far-right extremist ideology. We're going to investigate you. We're going to go through your Facebook page and your Instagram. We're going to see who you follow. You know what? We might even detain you for questions. That could be a week, 2 weeks. Now, legally, it shouldn't be that long. It should be like a couple hours, 24 hours, 48 hours, whatever it is. But the way they're changing the game, who knows? So, I had to read each bill. And I read them like I skimmed through them. I didn't read them all the way through. But HR 5602, this is what it read at the top of the first page, top of the bill. It reads, white supremacy, far-right extremists are among the greatest domestic security threats facing the United States since September 12, 2001. Domestic violent extremist has emerged. Since September 12, 2001, the day after the Trade Center. They're not including the Trade Center because then they would have to include those guys who were, if you want to look at it, they were also domestic terrorists because they lived here in the country and they performed a terrorist act. But they stopped it at they started at September 12th and stopped it at September 11th because they didn't want to include them. Interestingly enough, who's ever writing this bill is not on our side. Clearly, they are clearly on the other people's side. If you're going to you're going to have an actual cutoff date in your bill. And all three bills read the same way, pretty much, guys. They all read identical to one another. I guess it's just that one bill was knocked. They had to come up with another one. So, the Domestic Terrorism Prevention Act of 2021, also known as HR 350, might be passed this year because of the Capitol attack. Now, the Capitol attack is what they're going to absolutely use to pass these bills. Now, in the previous years, these bills weren't passed. They were looked at, they were glossed over, and they were never really answered. This bill is going to use the Capitol attack to get it passed. And then we're going to see some problems. Now, because the bill's not passed yet, everyone who is arrested for attacking the Capitol right now are going to get minor crimes unless you actually injured a cop or killed the cop, because they're still looking for that guy. So, if this bill was passed before then, these people would be fucked. They would absolutely be fucked. But because then they would be charged with terrorism acts, whatever those charges are, right? But they are not, so they should be okay. And you can't charge them with sedition and treason and insurrection, because to charge them with those three, you have to actually be following a leader of another party, or a leader who is telling you to attack for X, Y, and Z reasons. So I don't see that happening. These people being charged with that. So that's a good thing. So what's going to happen with this, guys, is they're going to wind up investigating more people with far-right views, or white extremists, or white nationalists, or Trump supporters. You get what I'm saying? This is not a good bill. This is going to end badly for a lot of us. All right, guys, so this is the Angry Prepper. Thank you for following me on the Angry Truth channel. You can like and subscribe to this channel. You can also follow me on the Angry Prepper channel. All right, guys, thank you for watching.